fear begins in the silence before the strike. A child is curled under the covers, shaking even though it's clearly summertime. The flash of lightning paints the room white for an instant. Their breathing stops, waiting. These are the suspended seconds that make the world feel still. When a storm becomes a possibility, the slight awareness that lightning will strike somewhere beneath the sky. Could be anyone, maybe even you. The fear of lightning does not care about the thunder or even the lightning itself, but the sudden power of the storm that comes without warning. This is exactly what fascinated Victor Frankenstein when he witnessed a tree get split by lightning. His response is fitting. I have never beheld anything so utterly destroyed. This is the impressive destruction that lightning can hold, so dramatically displayed in an instant, without remorse. Victor realizes that nature creates and destroys without hesitation, a demonstration of a universal fear. And lightning is not the only cause of strikes of destruction. Sometimes they don't come from storms at all. In 1908, something exploded above Siberia. There was no warning, not even a crater, but the blast was devastating. The flash was brighter than the sun. Radiating outward from the center were 80 million strong trees laid flat, 1,000 times the destruction of Hiroshima, decades before the first nuclear bomb was even built. It was not until 20 years later that scientists visited the area and labeled it as a stony asteroid that had been broken up on entry into the atmosphere. While no one was killed in this event, the most horrifying part of the disaster is the realization that if it had happened just hours later, the city of St. Petersburg would have been annihilated, killing millions. A flash from the sky, no warning, instant destruction. For most of human history, there was only one way to explain something like that. Long before the events of nature, like lightning, were understood, they were interpreted as a coming of a god. In the Vedic hymns of India, lightning was the weapon of Indra, a king of gods, who struck down chaos with a bolt forged from the sky. In Greece, Zeus controlled the heavens, whose lightning was a deliberate force of judgment cast from the above. And in the north, the thunder was said to be the hammer of Thor, echoing as a sign of divine presence. Even the Christian and Islam God held the power of lightning in many accounts. All completely different continents and eras, but still the same beliefs held. People could not handle the possibility that lightning was a random act of nature. So they invented a sky god. That means to send a message or strike down the unworthy. Thunder being the sound of a divine presence. Humans interpreted the acts of the wild as intention because the alternative was too terrifying. And yet, not all things that strike come from the sky at all. The movie Train Dreams follows a logger's life in the early 1900s, whose family tragically dies in a fire engulfing their home. The movie has many kinds of these deadly events that happen without warning, but one scene really stuck out to me. In it, a secondary character is walking by a tree, as was usual in the woods, but a branch breaks off and lands directly on his head. Others rush over, but cannot save him, and his death is swift, mere seconds of runtime. The only significance is the funeral. In it, a man says something that perfectly summarized the feelings of those around him. The man had not even touched the tree, he said. The implied question lingering in the air. Why did nature strike down an innocent man? This question has likely been asked by a man in the real world. His name is Roy Sullivan. Sullivan was a park ranger, but an extraordinary one at that. He survived 7 documented lightning strikes. People in his community even avoided him because they feared being struck by association. In 1983, he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The irony of nature revealed. He was a living omen, seemingly proof that the universe can choose, almost as if Zeus pointed a finger at the man. But can humanity point back, try to understand the lightning instead of run from it? In 1772, Benjamin Franklin held an experiment to try and do exactly that, to gain control of lightning itself. As the myth goes, he held in his hand a kite with a key attached to see if lightning was electricity. The story is iconic, showing the reckless potential of man in our attempt to touch what we do not know, curiosity overpowering our fear. Now the true story is Franklin just set up a kite and a key without letting the lightning strike it, because if lightning had hit the kite, he would have died instantly. The story may just be a myth, but the point of it is that Franklin wanted to steal fire from the gods, and succeeded. He wanted to know why nature chooses, so he risked his life to gain the forbidden wisdom in defiance of the randomness of the universe. What I find most fascinating about the story is that it gives a modern legend to show how we are no different than our ancient ancestors. It embodies the opposite of fear: curiosity, courage, and control. We study what could strike us down because we are afraid of it. Maybe so that we can predict who will get struck next. Our knowledge is our shield against the uneven sky. It is the hope that we can tame the uncaring wilderness.